This is the argument that you and your mates, I'm sure, have gone over many, many times. The best central midfielder in Premier League history. Now, Paul Scholes currently isn't a Premier League manager, so obviously it's him. We'll leave that to one side for now and talk about these three: Vieira, Lampard and Gerrard.
I love this. I love this so much. Bring the noise in the comments. I want to find out who's the better manager, who's the better player.
Frank Lampard is back in the dugout.
I think this is it now for Frank Lampard. I think the Derby job, it was one where you were able to utilise your contacts, and also a lot of money was being spent. The likes of Harry Wilson, Mason Mount, of course, was there. Tamori was at Derby as well. We know how good all three of those are. He then went to Chelsea. I think it was a bit early. I think he's admitted that himself. But he will probably, success isn't linear, and he will have developed as a manager. So going to Everton is a very, 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 very difficult job. I really want him to do well. And I think he's one of those that I believe has the awareness and the intelligence to develop and get better as time goes on. The problem is it's cutthroat in football management. And so this needs to go well for him, because if this one doesn't go well for him, then the next job is in the Championship, I think. But probably the best that Everton could get at this moment in time. Would you say that?
Listen, there are so many things I could say about Everton. I think one of the main ones is, you say it's the best that they could get. I mean, they clearly had no plan whatsoever. I mean, if you have no plan, then yeah, he is the best that you could get. And you know what I mean? But I think actually, had they thought it out, they may have been able to prize, and it might have taken a little bit longer. Another manager away from one of the other clubs in Europe. I think the main thing I'm concerned about with him is he conceded 77 goals in 57 matches. Now, for a team at that end of the table, with the quality that Chelsea had in their squad, despite that transfer embargo, because whether we like it or not, Everton are in a relegation battle. They need to defend better. At the moment, they're just not doing that. I don't know what his plan is going to be for that, because it needs to turn around very, very quickly. Or who knows, they could end up right in that relegation battle. That's aside from the fact that he was a brilliant player in this league. And this is the argument.
That's it. Get to the juice now. Get to the juice of it now. Here we go.
This is the argument that you and your mates, I'm sure, have gone over many, many times. The best central midfielder in Premier League history. Now, Paul Scholes currently isn't a Premier League manager, so obviously it's him. We'll leave that to one side for now and talk about these three: Vieira, Lampard and Gerrard. Where do you stand, James?
So Vieira, stats-wise, doesn't have it when it comes to the goals, but he played a different role for the team. They're all three of them good captains. Leadership, I think, is a good criteria to talk about as well. I think during the Vieira camp, you could chuck in a World Cup as well, and the Euros as well, which is pretty useful. But Lampard, of course, won a few trophies as well. For me, when it comes to player, Gerrard is head and shoulders above both of these guys. Lampard got the best out of what he had, but he was always surrounded by quality. That was not always the case when it comes to Steven Gerrard. He dragged that team through 2005, 2006. Vieira, again, part of the Invincibles, big part of that, and absolutely fantastic as a footballer, dominating in midfield. But it has to be Gerrard. The only thing that people throw is that he didn't win a league title, but that just feels like nonsense to me. If you put Lampard in the QPR team, he's not winning the Premier League title. It doesn't work that way. So for me, it's Gerrard when it comes to the players of these three. Where do you sit on it? Do you agree with me? You must do.
For me, the best is absolutely Steven Gerrard. I think that one of the reasons is I compared the three of their games. I think as an all-round player, box to box, his ability to affect both the attacking areas of the pitch and the defensive areas of the pitch, I would give it to Steven Gerrard. I, by the way, don't think he was as elegant a midfielder as Patrick Vieira. I think he was a very intelligent central midfield player for his time, Patrick Vieira, as his career shows. Fantastic player. I think Steven Gerrard was more dynamic, though, and had, there's that ability to deliver in key moments. I think he had that throughout his career, and that for many makes him probably the best Premier League midfielder of all time.
Give me your 1, 2, 3 when it comes to players. Just give me the names.
Steven Gerrard, Patrick Vieira for his leadership, his ability, elegant, but just a fantastic career. And then the last one for me is Frank Lampard, because he was almost a second striker. Very good one, but I don't think he had the all-round central midfield player of the other two.
Okay, I'm going Gerrard, Lampard, Vieira. Lampard for the longevity and the consistency of goals.
Disgrace.
Let's move.
Disgrace.
Right, managerial careers then, because this one's very, very interesting. Of course, all three of them kind of just starting out. When we get to the end of their careers as managers, which one of these three will have the best career as a manager? Of course, let us know in the comments.
Based on what we've seen in the early stages, it would be Steven Gerrard for me right now. I think what we've seen from Patrick Vieira at the clubs he's already coached, I think in particular Nice fans would say he under-delivered. He made some very odd decisions, both in terms of the formation, but also the personnel choices. Things are going well at Crystal Palace, but it's all about perception in football. Nice at the time perceived to be a team that should be going for the Champions League places and right up there at the top of the league. Crystal Palace, we know, has not always been a Premier League club. So to see them playing good football and doing well and not just trying to defend themselves from losing every game, we suddenly think that, oh, that's brilliant. What a breath of fresh air from Patrick Vieira. The same is true, I think, of Steven Gerrard at Rangers. This is a team that has been in the doldrums. He won a league title in Scotland with them, and people say, wow, he's turned things around. 25-point gap, by the way, in winning that league, and he's come down to Aston Villa. He deserves it. But suddenly, Frank Lampard, who got to the Champions League with Chelsea, maybe doesn't deserve an opportunity at Everton, many people think, because of that reputation and maybe a perception that he has got jobs too easily. And I think actually Lampard did a pretty good job in terms of the quality of football at Chelsea. I really respect him for that. If he brings 75% of that to Everton, they'll be a comfortable mid-table side. But I think I'd say Gerrard at this point. What about you?
This is where my left field pick comes, and I'm trying to see something different here. Lampard will struggle out of these three because the problem he's had is he's gone straight to that Chelsea job, and let's be honest, overall it will be seen as a failure. And Lampard can't be the Arsenal manager. He can't be the Spurs manager. He could be the West Ham manager, but that would even be a stretch because their fans don't really like him either. He probably can't be the Man United manager. So to be, a top level manager and to achieve a lot, to win trophies, that takes him out of the conversation for me because I don't think he gets those jobs. Gerrard will most likely get that Liverpool job, but he's going to be coming off the back of Jurgen Klopp. Vieira could do a good job at Crystal Palace and then get the job after Arteta has a bit of a blip with a young squad that will be starting to go into its prime, add a few additions, and he could ride that wave into a few trophies. And all of a sudden, we're looking at Patrick Vieira as the best manager of the three. A lot's got to happen there, but I think for Patrick Vieira to be able to get that Arsenal job, I think it's there and it's available in time. And he might be able to see them and take them up a notch and raise the expectations. Whereas the expectations are so high for Steven Gerrard, it's going to be difficult, surely. That's a good idea, right? That's a good point, no?
You've overthought it. You're the Pep Guardiola of ESPN's football forecast, James. It's as simple as this. Gerrard's a better coach. I imagine he'll have a better career.
You're probably right.
Hi, I'm Hugh Woozencroft from ESPN's Football Forecast. Make sure you're subscribed. You can follow all of our predictions throughout the season and get some other great analysis from our big names as well.